Hello and welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. My name is Tom Webster.
And I'm Rob Holmes.
And we've just got off of the highest energy podcast we have ever done.
It was someone else.
So there's a lady called Ronni James, and she's an interior architect. And some of you might have seen her on social media. She posts quite a few of her projects and stuff in some of these property investor groups and on Instagram and stuff. And that's how I met her. I was like, saw some of her projects and saw the character that she was. I was like, she's going to be a great guest. And I wasn't wrong.
You were not wrong. You were not wrong.
Not
wrong. For someone at 9 a.m. in the morning to have that much energy is pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Well,
So we found out a lot about her past, sort of the career trajectory that she went on. And so she works in sort of like the luxury space when it comes to interior design. But we did touch on some of the sort of like the lower end development and how you can merge the two. What else we talk about? We just got some tips on what to look out for, what to not do, what to do when it comes to design and interior design, which I think will help a lot of developers out there that are going through refurb stuff. The whole anti-grey carpet. There's a good old chat on grey carpet. Have you got grey carpet in some of your stuff, Rob?
I've got grey carpet all over the place. When she said it, I went a bit quiet. I don't think I'll be using grey carpet anymore after that.
There's going to be a few developers listening to this going, well, what's wrong with grey carpet?
Apparently, everything is wrong with grey carpet.
Everything is wrong with grey carpet. So we have a conversation on what the alternative is versus grey carpet, which, to be fair to her, if you do go on to Rightmove and you do flick through, if you see a grey carpet, you know that a developer has done a refurb on it, don't you? Pretty much think you can.
Grey carpet, grey walls, slightly darker grey woodwork.
Yeah. So that trend has ended now. So if anyone's doing something or going to be doing something, let's try and avoid the grey. But no, just a really high energy. She was lovely. She was really funny. But before you listen, just prepare yourself for the level, because it was a buzzy episode. But no, she was a great guest. Really good fun to have on board. Anything you'd like to add there, Rob, before we move on?
No. Let's go.
Cool. So again, if you could leave us a review on YouTube or Apple Music or Spotify, that'd be amazing for us. The reviews really, really help. The more sort of traction we get on those sort of things, then we can just keep getting better and better guests, and we can just keep pushing forward. Also, remember to subscribe, like, and all of the other influencer drop-ins that you got to do. But no, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. And thank you for listening. And we're live. Good morning, Ronnie.
How are you?
Yeah, really well. Yourself?
I'm wonderful. I'm good, thank you. Wonderful.
Living the dream in Switzerland.
Living the dream in Zurich, right by the lake. Can't complain. We've got lots of snow right now.
I was going to say, I bet it's absolutely freezing at the moment, isn't it?
No, not really. Actually, I mean, it's because it's a dry cold, so it doesn't actually feel too bad. Actually, it's all right.
Oh, that's good. And you were just saying before, so sort of like the COVID situation is not as bad out there.
No, I mean, everything's closed, the restaurants and bars, etc. But we are allowed to, see friends. I mean, it's a max group of like 5 now. So that's nice, because I think otherwise you kind of go a little bit insane. I think it's a little bit stricter in the UK, isn't it? Even though I am quite antisocial as well, I do spend a lot of time by myself. I think I'm great. Every so often I rear my head and I say, "Hi, friends, come on over."
What we do is that the way we like to start shows, we like our guests sort of introduce themselves, explain sort of your history, like where you grew up, what your career's been like, and just sort of give us a bit of a preach about who you are and what you do, and then we'll just sort of spin the conversation from there.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm Ronni. I'm originally from London. Don't know if you can tell by the accent. But I grew up in northwest London, in Mill Hill, sort of like close to like Hampstead, Camden sort of sites. And I've always been a creative, really. I've been creative from ever since. It's really weird, actually, because in school I hated art. I thought it was really pointless and stupid. And then I decided when I left school at 16, I was like, right, I'm going to art college. Very weird. I don't know. Anyway, got into, I created my own my portfolio, and then from since then it's just gone from there. So I was doing textiles and fine art, and then I decided, you know what, I've got this fascination with architecture, so I went and did interior architecture for 3 years. I was supposed to do more study to become an architect, but I was jittering about. I was rattling about like a pill in a jar because I had too much Red Bull.
And for those of you that are listening only, Ronni is literally rattling around like a pill in a jar, or wherever she is on camera.
So yeah, it's because my tutor asked me, "You gonna continue?" And I said, "No, I'm exhausted. I'm not doing that." So then I just went on, and I went to be a junior at an architect's firm, which was really good fun, and it kind of grew from there. You know, I went into started off as a junior and then worked my way up as a oh God, I don't even know what it's called now. Associate director. Jesus Christ, it's what time is it?
It's more like Rebel.
So yeah, and then I was encouraged to kind of work for myself. I don't know if they just wanted to get rid of me. Just get out. So yeah, and I kind of thought, if I'm going to be a director, I'd rather do it for myself. So I've been doing that for the last 6 years, and it's been really, really good. And I haven't really had to do much in the way of social media because I hate social media. I think it's horrible. But do follow me on all my platforms.
I'll just never respond to any of you. Follow me, but I'm not going to write back.
Yeah. Oh, it's you again.
Well, just funny to say, because that's obviously how we linked up. So I saw some posts that you popped into some Facebook groups and stuff, and like just really loved what you'd done. You'd created like this amazing space. So that one was in London, wasn't it? The one I commented on.
Probably.
Yeah, loads of gold and.
So yeah. Well, yeah, I have this fascination with brass gold. I'm usually that person. I don't have a design style, and I looked through my portfolio the other day, and I'm like, there's gold everywhere. What is going on?
So how did you find sort of like the transition from like employed to self-employed? So what was the thing that sort of drove you to say, actually, do you know, I can do this on my own?
Well, I think I don't know actually. It was really scary, and I kind of thought, I've always wanted to work for myself. I like I guess the freedom of having my own schedules and things like that. Even though I mean, I don't have time to do anything, but it is nice. It is nice working for yourself. And plus, I know my boss really well. He's wonderful. So I think, and also like a lot of my work comes through recommendations. So all the people that I used to work for and the property developers that I worked for, I think they love my winning personality. So it was quite a nice transition. It was weird though, because it is a bit lonely in the beginning, isn't it? Because you're just kind of rattling about and you don't talk to anyone. But then you find that, well, you can't share your ideas with anyone. At least in an office, you can kind of be like, hey, what do you think about this? But yeah, I guess you get used to it. And now I've kind of built a small team. I don't want it to grow too big.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that because I don't want my designs to be diluted, and I'm a little bit selfish as well because I like to think that all of the designs are mine.
Yeah.
I can't really say that if somebody else comes along and starts designing.
Mind you, it's funny to say that. I think we'll probably start to see a bit of a trend in that coming forward with sort of smaller teams. I think it was Russell Quirk, who's been on the show before. He tweeted the other day, or as a LinkedIn post, about how his PR agency sort of got to a size where he's comfortable and he doesn't want to push it further because it's all about growth. It's take over the world. Like there's this whole sort of momentum about be as big as you can. But I think over COVID, working from home, reducing stress, just having a nice life. I think this might be a bit of a culture shift. People might start thinking, actually, do you know what? I'm very content with the size of my business. If I get too big, then I've got new problems, new worries. So I think that's
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
commendable.
yes, yeah, for sure, because you just have all these people to deal with, and then your office also becomes like an Oprah session as well, because you've got to deal with their problems, and I just don't want to. That sounds terrible. I do. I'm so sorry.
No, I've been there.
Awful. Don't tell me your problems. But no. No, but you know what I mean? It just becomes, because I saw sort of like the stress from my directors, when I used to work for people, and it's a lot. You've kind of got to take on all of that. And I mean, an architect actually asked me the other day, he's asking me some very bizarre questions. He was just like, I thought he wanted to talk to me about projects, and then he was like, where do you want to be in 5 years' time? It's like, well, exactly where I am. And he was just like, well, that's a bit boring. Don't you want to, expand? And I said, no, I actually don't. And he said, actually, I agree with you, because having a large team it comes with stress, and I don't like stress. It just upsets my face. I just like to just chill. I like to have a chill time.
But like I said, that's so commendable, because I think we can all get lost in that growth delusion. It's like, right, we need a bigger team. We need to and I've been there, like Rob knows more than any. It's like we built a really fast sort of growth mortgage advisor practice. And we sort of got to a point where I was looking around going, actually, I'm not earning any more money than I earned before, but my stress is 10x. And they've got people all over the place. Like I said, they've all got different issues and different things that you need to deal with, but it's all hitting me. And we're not big enough for me to have a marketing director and a finance director. It's like, it's that size where I am everything. And then you're like, boom. And it's like, and I was like, no, not doing anymore. And it just scaled the whole thing back.
Yeah, and also, do you know what? I actually do like having that personal approach.
Yeah.
So, you're actually talking to me, as in, rather than me spending my life in meetings, which I hate. I don't like meetings, they're stupid. But like, I like having that personal approach with my clients. And I think they appreciate that. Do you know what I mean? Rather than,
And people buy people, don't they? At the end of the day, is they're buying into you. So for those listeners, can you explain what an interior architect does, or an architectural interior designer does?
Okay, so basically I concentrate a lot on the architecture of the inside. So I like to manipulate spaces. And to, sometimes it can just be simple things that can make it look great. I mean, obviously I do the whole soft furnishings and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm more into like manipulating a space, making it look fantastic, adding value and all of that kind of jazz. I love refurbs. I just love to tear things down and rebuild it all again, and I absolutely love it. It's just and like just doing architectural drawings, and I can look at a plan and actually understand it, and doing lighting design, and all of that good fun stuff. I love it. It's great. So that's basically what I do, and I started off in the luxury sector. I've always been working in the luxury sector. I did actually try when I was when I built up. I think I got to like a midway designer, and I thought, well, now that I've experienced the luxury side, I kind of want to see the other side. The peasants. So I did try, and I tried to get try to get a job with some other designers who didn't.
You can't name them now because you've just called them all peasants.
Oh no, I can't. No, I'll never. Oh God, I think yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I went to try and get jobs with them, and they were just like, no, Ronnie, you've been doing luxury for the last 5 years or whatever it is. If we give you our projects, you're just going to get bored. So I did actually try to go that way. But I think once you've been working in one type of industry or one part of the market, it's very difficult to get anywhere else.
Yeah.
So I
How
just
did
thought,
you-
all right, well, I'll just
How
stay
did you
here.
end up in luxury to begin with?
Because
Well,
usually it's
because
a
I
transition, isn't
worked,
it? Usually try and work your way up to luxury.
yeah, but I've always been that person. Even when I was studying, right, at uni, I was like, I'm poor and I need clothes. So I was like, but if I'm gonna go and work anywhere, because I hate retail and I think it's stupid. It's not stupid for those who work. But anyway, I don't, I don't like retail. But anyway, so I thought if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go and work for Diesel or Selfridges, which is what I did. So I was like, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it at the high end, and I think that's always been my mindset. But I went to work for, like, international large architects, and it wasn't necessarily. I mean, maybe I should have started off small, but I mean, it doesn't matter. But um, they were always working on luxury large developments, and it was insane. Like, I mean, the pressure was insane. Like, you probably feel like you want to die and cry many times, to be honest. But it helped me with knowing how to multitask. It helped me to know how to work under pressure, and yeah, and deal with egos and all of that kind of stuff. A
So
lot of ego in the industry.
how did you get that first job then? What was it? What was that first job where you were paid to do this?
I was a dog's body. I was literally drawing plans for an architect, and literally I spent the first 2 years of my career just drawing architectural plans and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing. That's how I started. Um, and I was really, I kind of moaned about it, but you know what? It's so valuable now, because I can look at a plan, understand it, do architectural drawings, which unfortunately, I'm not going to say any names, but a lot of interior designers cannot do, and they're not real interior designers. Sorry. You can't draw. You need to be able to draw. You have to be able to draw. You can't just do the fluffy stuff, They're called stylists. And there's nothing wrong with being a stylist and saying that. Don't come and attack me. Who knows where I live?
Well, it's okay. You're not in the country. It's fine. They can't get to you.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah,
So-
no, I think it. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, so you spent 2 years drawing those plans.
Yeah,
Bored as hell, but you understand now that obviously that really helped you in what you're
really
doing now.
valuable.
So see the value in it. So tell me, where was your first big break as such? What got you from doing the things you didn't want to be doing, stuck in an office, doing those drawings, to
Yeah.
getting you that big first job where kind of you were in charge, you were making the decisions?
I mean, that came about 2 or 3 years afterwards. So I'd proven myself, and I'd proven that actually, I do have some good ideas. And, I got, they gave me my first project, where I was kind of, because that's what it is in design. In the UK anyway, you kind of start off as a junior and you work your way up to midweight, then senior, and then associate or whatever. And so I've proven myself, and then I was able to really start exercising my creative ability and like start putting schemes together and things like that. And yeah, it was really good fun. Because I enjoy that side as much as like the drawings were valuable, and I can now just draw and do whatever. But it's nice to kind of like put those skills, whilst I'm thinking technically, I can really sort of think marry that creatively, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
So I'm able to really kind of, as much as I can look at the structure of a building, I can creatively look at it. Even when you're like, I'm project managing, you've got project managers who are not creative, and I'm going to upset another group of people. You've got project managers who are not very creative because they just kind of think budget, this, that, blah, blah. But when I manage a project
You're like,
I
who
can
cares
look
about
at
the
it.
budget?
Yeah,
More gold.
More
But I
gold.
but I can look at it and be like, yeah, like we can, if we change this wall, take this down, or do this, or put this shadow gap in there, it's going to work really well. So I'm sort of thinking kind of architecturally and creatively, and how they can actually get their money's worth, if that makes sense, and how they can save money. I'm good at saving.
And then you spend it elsewhere.
Yeah. In my pocket. No, I'm
So,
joking.
so
I
you're
don't
saying,
do that.
so you're saying there's like a big difference between sort of stylists and interior architects and that sort of stuff. So someone that's just starting out, if let's say someone wants to get to where you are, working on big luxury projects, working for themselves, there's going to be a lot of sort of people at uni or in them really early stages are saying, I want to be where Ronni is. What sort of advice would you give those people of how to get the wheels moving on your sort of trajectory?
I mean, it took me about 10 years, and it does typically take about 10 years for you to get to kind of like, sort of director level, whether it's working for yourself or someone else. And I would say, as much as nobody can teach you how to be creative. You've either got it or you don't. But like really grab hold of like the technical side, because a lot of people ask me, I want to get into interiors, but they don't actually understand that there is a technical aspect to it. There's a lot of thinking, there's a lot of strategy, and also you don't want to look like Kelly Hoppen, I'll name her. It's just when you've just got everything in one shade, I think, at least I like to think, not that I'm trying to, there's no ego here, but I am pretty good at what I do.
Sure.
But I think people look at it because it's different.
But I suppose that's what you would pay a designer for, because most people can do what they see in a magazine or kind of get an idea of what is okay. But you pay someone to go that extra mile. Otherwise, you might as well just do it yourself.
You might as well just do it yourself. And and I really, really love it. I like to think that it comes out in what I do. So if anybody's starting, I would say, look, understand the technical side, go and work for architects, try and work for a smaller practice. So don't be like me and went to go and work for a massive practice. But start, because then they've got more time to kind of spend that time with you and mentor you, whereas in the larger practice they just went, look, we're pushing you out into the ocean, now swim. And I'm just like, oh my god, I can't do it. But I did. But that's like, I wish I did have I started off in a smaller practice. So that's what I would say to people. Understand, the technical sides, understand what it's like to work with M&E guys, electricians, and joiners, and build up that library of really good people, and you'll be all right.
And so when a developer's coming to you, what are the things that you notice are more common? So what are people asking? What are the trends, sort of aspect of stuff?
What are they asking for? Well, they typically want everything yesterday.
Yeah.
And they think that I'm a machine. Love you, developers. Contact me. I think that, well, they always want to stand out, and they want to do something different, because obviously you're competing against each other, aren't you? And it's like, they want to have something that is going to stand out, and that they do try and follow trends. I don't really understand this whole trend stuff, whatever. There are trends, but I think what it is that when I'm designing, I do look at trends, but I don't necessarily kind of stick with that, because otherwise everybody's going to be doing the same thing. So what I do is that I always kind of put my own little Ronni spin on it. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what they really like about it. And sometimes, you know, I'll come up with stuff and they're like, "Oh, I've never seen that before." And it's like, yeah, because I'm good. So yeah, I think it's separation. You know, they want to be separate because the luxury industry is not very big, and they all know each other and they all compete with each other. It's actually quite funny how they compete with each other. Yeah, yeah.
Has anyone, as an industry being very small and them all knowing each other, have any of them ever tried to lock you out of working with the others by kind of retaining you?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah. I had a client the other day actually. She actually said to her architect to not give me any more projects because she just wanted me to concentrate on hers. And she actually said to me, she was like, "Ronnie, I don't want you to take on, if they ask you to do any projects," because he did actually ask me, he was like, I want what you've been doing, I want you to do for me. Um, so I'd already had that conversation with him, and I said, "Yeah, fine, you know, just shoot me over whatever it is." And she got wind of this, and she was like, "Ronnie, if he asks you to do any work, just say no, because I want you to concentrate on mine." And I said to her, "Wow, it's like how I choose to run my business is, you know, how I choose to run my business. Until, you know, the quality of my work actually goes down, then we can actually sort of say, all right, you know, let's have a chat." But it's not. So no, she's like, "Oh no, I'm not trying to say that." It's like, "Well, what are you trying to say then? Because that's what it sounds like." So got rid of her. So yeah, it can. I mean, that was the first time that I'd actually had that, but I don't think. I mean, to be honest, my clients are really, really cool, and they're just really quite down to earth. And I think, you know, I believe in sort of like the law of attraction and energy and all that jazz. And I think you get out, you get back what you put out, you know. And I think it's really important to work with the right people. Even my team of contractors, they're all really cool, you know, and we understand each other. And in the same way that you have to handpick the people who work for you, you kind of got to do the same with your clients as well, I think. Because you it's important to have that synergy, because if you can't work well together, because you're still working as a team, and if you can't work well together, then they're not going to get the best out of me, you know. So I think that's what I really want to push home as well, for people who are starting out or looking to start working for themselves. Like, really think about your market, really think about your clients. I wouldn't take on every single project. I know that sounds mad, but you know, you've got to think about where that project sits in with your brands, you know. So yeah, just be careful.
I
Yeah.
think it's
know
really
what?
good awareness because again,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that whole growth. It is very easy to look at the numbers and say, right, okay, well, I'll do this job because I'm going to earn X. I can't
Yeah.
stand the guy. I know I'm going to fall out of him. I know it's going to be a nightmare, but I'm going to earn a good living out of it. And sometimes you do just have to go, actually, and me and Rob had this conversation before, sometimes it's not about making as much money as possible, but it's making good money well.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, when one door closes, another
Yeah.
one opens. And I've done that. And because, like I told you about this woman, she was an absolute nightmare. And it taught me so much to be like, you can't just take on every single project. And I think, that was a good lesson for me. So that's what I would sort of say to other people. And when one door closes, another one opens, really, because you're shifting the energy. And also, a lot of the time with property developers, they like to stick with the same team. So once you've done work with them, they'll give you other things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's good.
And do you know what? Like, we've heard this quite a few times now. Like, me and Tom have had the conversation. You're saying, everyone's saying it in a slightly different way, but they're ultimately saying the same thing, that the people that are really enjoying their job or their work, should we say, or whatever they're doing, creating, what they're getting paid for, The ones that are really successful and happy doing it are the ones that actually choose their clients, not the other way around.
Yeah.
100%. And I think for people listening, it's such a, especially self-employed, it's such an important factor that you need to be happy with who you're working with. So me, like, I'm a property investor, but I'm a mortgage broker. Same with Tom.
Yeah.
I take on every client.
Yeah.
Like you,
I've let clients go.
Yeah.
And for mortgage side of things, that's really rare. A lot of mortgage brokers will just deal with whatever comes in, and I did for a long time. And then there was just a client that was just repeating. I was like, I'm not the best person for you. What you need, I'm not the person to deliver that. And again, that they were probably one of my biggest clients. But you've got to take that realization of, actually, I'm doing you a disservice. You're doing me a massive disservice because I'm pulling my hair out. I used to have a full head of hair until I met you, Lauren. but you have to sort of find yourself and go, actually, do you know what? And I think is it Tim Ferriss in 4 Hour Work Week? I think he talks a lot about picking clients and trimming down the whole 80-20 rule. 20% of your clients going to take up 80% of your time and blah blah blah. I think there's that realization stuff there. But just on that, have you had any like super interesting, like weird requests? So like, I want this in my house, or can you try and shoehorn this in?
I've got one at the moment. I mean, he's a really lovely guy, I have to say. He's a really, really, really lovely client. But my good God, I mean, he's got he's built in this 4-story house, right? And he said to me, "Oh, Ronni, we're getting old now, and we want to kind of, we want things that are just sort of easy to manage." I was like, "You've got a 25-room house, mate, with an 8-meter chandelier." I was like, most of the time when people want to downsize or have a quieter, slower life, they get 2-bedroom bungalow in Bournemouth. You just built a 25-room house, and him and his wife just sat there looking at me, staring, like, what is she talking about? Like I'm the crazy one. I mean, I am crazy, but come on. And
it's all relative, isn't it? They're probably downsized from a 90-bedroom house or something.
Yeah, probably. I mean, Jesus. And then he was like, "Yeah, do you know what I think we should do? I think we should have gold toilets." And I was just like, I sat there and stared at them for a really long time because my mouth was open. It must be because my mouth went dry. So I don't even know if I started dribbling or not. I was just like, I've got to put my foot down. We're not doing gold toilet. And he kept talking to my plumber about it as well. He's like, "Yeah, I think it'd be good to have some gold toilets." And he doesn't really say much. I'm quite outspoken, and I'm like, "No, we're not doing that." Poor guy just sat there and went,
So how much is a gold toilet? So if someone wanted a gold toilet, how much do they spend?
One gold toilet is $1 million, isn't it? If you want to get the real gold one. I actually did went and Google it because I have never done it before. And I went to Google it. I was like, "Is there really such thing?" And yeah, it's £1 million.
And it's solid gold.
It's solid gold, yeah.
How heavy would that be?
You see, yeah, but wait. You see, these people have got lots of money. They're the tightest people, and I don't think he quite understood how much it was. Because if I said to him, "Yeah, all right, we'll put one of these in each of your 8 bathrooms," I think he quite quickly changed his mind.
Get a gold plated one.
Get a gold.
Especially when you add like 10% project management fee on top of the order.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a lovely guy, really lovely. But yeah, he's quite quirky. Let's just say that. Yes.
Sorry, you
go on, Tom. No, go on, mate.
I was going to say, what's sort of like the biggest project? Because obviously we're talking about luxury, we're talking about big numbers. What is the biggest sort of project you've worked on?
Well, I've done the Hiltons, and Tiffany. I say that so casually.
I've done Tiffany, darling.
I mean, I didn't do the whole thing myself. I was working in a team, but yeah, I did number one, a lot of the apartments in number one Kensington High Street, and also the Tower in Vauxhall. The the penthouse. I did that. That sold for 50 million.
And you
Who
did
has
the
that
design
type
in
of
that.
money? Yeah, I mean, like, who has that type of money? And the thing is that they
Your
sold
clients.
it. Well, yeah. But you know, they don't even they just used it as like a holiday home. So they come over like maybe once or twice a year.
So there is a massive jump from sort of like that millionaire to that ultra wealthy. And then when they're like that, the chasm is massive. And once you get to that, then it is just numbers on a spreadsheet, and that is.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Honestly,
What,
it is.
what's been your favorite job?
Mm, I don't know. I don't think. I mean, probably the one that I'm doing now. I mean, uh, you know, I've got with this quirky guy because it is fun. It's challenging. Trust me, it's very challenging. I've developed some more grays. I'm just like, so no, I think that this is probably my favorite because it's really lovely. I think the way that it's coming together is really nice. Just different textures and everything. It's so nice. I think it's going to be really beautiful once it's finished. And I'm doing the house next door as well, which is also his, but he's going to rent that one out, so that's just going to be, he's like, that's just going to be the basic one.
Silver toilets.
Yeah.
Gold.
Yeah. No gold in there. Not even any toilets, just give them a bucket.
So for those listening, Ronni, you're not actually in the UK. I mean, we touched on it earlier, but before we started recording, you said that you'd actually moved around a little bit. So how did that come about? What made you leave London?
Oh, well, I mean, I think for me, I mean, I'm from London, but I just feel like London's just the place where souls go to die. I mean, I can't stand it anymore. Don't Londoners, don't come and attack me. I'm allowed to say that. I was born there. I just feel like it just kind of, yeah, it just ate away at me a little bit. You know, I mean, I love my city. I think it's an amazing city, but I just wanted to have a quieter life, but I still wanted to have the city life, if that makes sense. And I just kind of decided, you know what, I want to experience something new, I want to experience a new culture, and I've got that type of personality where I'm just like, if I'm not happy about something, I'm just gonna change it. There's no kind of sitting about. So I knew that Lisbon was sort of that new kind of cool place to be, and a lot of, so design-wise, it was really good because there were a lot of commercial things going on. So I did, in fact, all of my projects there were kind of commercial. They were like hotels, boutique hotels, and all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool. And I did that for 3 years. And then I thought, right, okay, it's time for a change. Let's go somewhere else. And I actually missed the cold. I know it's weird. I missed the winter, and I
I'm
really
the
love
complete
all the
opposite. Absolute opposite. Like if I could live in
Really?
30-degree heat every day with like, I went to Santorini last year and it was like 30 degrees, not a cloud in the skies. I could just do this forever. I do not miss the cold or the rain or the wind.
No, I was just sort of like, because I like the rain when I'm inside, not when I'm in it. That's not cool. I'm not gonna like try and lie, but no, I did miss, because I love getting all my accessories and getting all snuggles and all that kind of weird stuff. So yeah, that, because I love all the seasons, and I thought, and actually the architects in Lisbon, they were just like, mate, if we could afford to be in London or Switzerland, we would do it, because obviously they're not as, it's not as, I guess, rich as these cities, and Zurich was always on my mind anyway, and I never like to commit to say, yeah, this is where I'm going to be living for the rest of my life, because I do like to travel, and COVID kind of put a pin in that, because you know, I'm able to, the good thing about my job is that unless I'm doing a site visit, I can work from anywhere. Um, so I was planning on you know, going to Asia for a month and just sitting out there and working. Um, and that's something that I really miss, and I'm hoping, you know, just give me the freaking COVID jab. I don't care. All you people are coming at me, going, no, but you're going to die. Look, I'm going to die anyway. And if I'm if that's going to kill me, I've died happy. But yeah, I really miss traveling. It helps my creativity as well, you know. So yeah, and then I moved to Zurich, and it's been I actually prefer the mountains and the lakes actually rather than the beach. Sand gets everywhere. It's very annoying. Don't like it. Sorry. But no, I love it. I love it here. And we'll
So
see
do you
how
think
long I'll stay here for.
I was going to be my next question. How long do you think you'll be staying there?
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. I mean, I'd never like to say forever, but maybe I will be here forever. Who knows? Well, I just go with how I feel, just energetically. And at the moment, I'm really, really super happy here. I'm happier here than I was in Lisbon. So it's only been a year, or just over a year, so we'll see.
It seems like a good place to do COVID as well. Like you said, like with the lakes and the mountains and the outside that you get there.
Yeah, exactly. And you're still able, the ski resorts are still open, and you don't have to go far to find a mountain. I mean, you just walk 3 minutes and you see the Alps just from the city, you know.
Yeah.
So and it is really, it's stunning. And you know, you can either go skiing or you go sledging or whatever, you know. You've still got all of that outdoor space. So like, even though I'm in the city, we still have like the woods and stuff as well. So, and the Swiss are really quite active, and they love, you know, doing all of that hiking stuff. And I think it really helps with your mental health. I think it's so important. So with all that stuff that's going on in the UK, I don't think I would have been able to survive, because even in the summer, you know, we were locked down, but you were still able to go hiking, you know, and like you had these pensioners passing me, for goodness sake. So ashamed. I'm like trying to hold myself up against the tree, sweating buckets, and they're just like, "Grüezi, Adam," and I'm just like, right. I was like, oh my god, I'm dying here.
So if you disappear off of social media and people can't get hold of you, we know you're dead up a mountain against a tree somewhere.
Mountain. Yeah. Just send the sniffer dogs.
to bring it back around to property a little bit. So we initially connected over sort of the love of lighting, because I know a lot of developers overlook lighting, and especially in commercial spaces, the amount of times you go into a restaurant and it's not lit properly, and I think it's one of those things that people don't really understand lighting and how important it is on sort of the environment that it creates. Is there any sort of like tips and tricks and stuff that you could sort of impart some wisdom to some of the developers that are listening on things to not like a checklist, but make sure that you're doing these bare necessities to make sure lighting is a part of what you're thinking about when you're developing and refurbing?
It's all about the best way I can look at it. I mean, every space is very different. So if it's commercial, you want to kind of think about it like a restaurant or something. You want to think about the mood that you're setting. But if we're talking resi, again, it's still the sort of, I kind of try and put myself in my client's shoes, and it's like, sorry, I just snorted. That's random. Piggy. Yeah, so I think about how, like, certain moods, and I think people every time I'm going to upset another group of people now, the architects. They really, every time they send you a lighting plan, it's just spotlights everywhere, and it's like, mate, come on, like, let's do something a little bit creative. And you know, I love putting in recessed LED strips, and they're just as they're not expensive. It probably costs around about the same as spotlights, and they're just so cool. So I think when you look at a space, think about have a feature or a center point, you know, and think about what type of mood are you trying to set? How because lighting helps, it's a good, oh, get your words out, Ronnie, like and how it makes you feel. So
Yeah.
especially when you come home from work, you probably don't want Wembley Stadium in your face. Do you know what I mean? You just kind of want to have a nice little mood, and so really think about that. And is there a feature? There should be a feature in every single room. So if it's a lighting feature, um, like a pendant or something, make sure that it's practical as well, if that makes sense. But always like ask an electrician, I would say, because it's difficult for me to answer that question because every space is really different. And sometimes, I can use lighting to manipulate a space, to change the atmosphere or to create shapes and things like that. So always speak to your electrician or your M&E guy if you've got one, or woman, sorry, and but kind of stand your ground with the electrician because they love to do the easiest thing. I'm going to upset another group of people now.
Let's keep a little list together.
Earlier, Ronnie, when you said you like being on your own, are you sure you like being on your own, or are you haven't just alienated everyone?
I think, yeah, I've got no friends. Is that gin and tonic? A bit early.
It's 3 o'clock somewhere.
So I keep knocking over all the glasses in my house. During lockdown, I've broken all my glasses. So literally, the only glass I have left is this lovely gin and tonic glass. It's water and lemon for anyone watching at 10 to 11 in the morning.
Lies. It's all lies.
We need to. Quite a few people do that, don't they? They do podcast episodes where they get drunk. So we just do like a drunk podcast property, just like
this would have
absolutely
been the episode to do it on.
Yeah, it would have been, to be fair.
That would have been the episode.
All 3 of us absolutely battered.
Oh my god, that would be so funny. I'd just be ripping the shit into like property guru.
I tell you what would be awesome. We could actually get a business trip to Switzerland, do a podcast.
Yeah. And then slag off all the gurus.
And then slag off all the gurus and be like, look at me now. We'll be like, we'll be singing The Hills Are Alive in the snow.
Actually, just on that, so like with the whole guru thing, again, we've spoke a little bit about that before. Is there anything that you would say to look out for in design and in sort of like what you do that a lot of people, is like a bit of like a white noise that you would say like avoid? Is there like a thing that you'd say like everyone's saying this is good but it's not good, or anything, like any advice you'd give sort of around that?
Stop using grey carpet. It's boring and it's really upsetting my face as well. It's not good when my face is upset. I've got a face like chewing wasps every time I see a grey carpet. Stop it!
What would you do? What would you do instead?
Oh, I'd put down anything. Be fine. Just go for the rustic look. No, I'm joking. You've got really good wood laminates, and people sort of say, oh no, but that's really expensive. No, they're not necessarily so expensive. And they also, some of them come with like 100-year guarantee, slight exaggeration, 10 years. But you can get, you can get really nice wood laminates, and it's a nice alternative. And if people are gonna, you can just, if they're gonna worry about, if you can't have the luxury of underfloor heating, which also is not necessarily expensive. It can be, it depends, but you can put down rugs. For me personally, if I was a property developer, I would just be doing laminate because I can't be dealing with all of the stain nonsense. And you put down a cheap carpet and then you're probably ripping it up every few years, and that's just, for me, it's just a bit of a headache. I think good wood laminate, that's what I would do. That's my personal opinion anyway. Don't use grey anymore.
Grey carpets. I think grey's been burnt out. I think they did a lot of grey.
Absolutely. And these bloody feature walls. I mean, yes, create a feature wall, but you don't have to do it everywhere. There's all feature wall nonsense. I mean, it's fine, don't get me wrong, but try and do different things. Everyone's like, oh yeah, let's paint the feature wall, put wallpaper on there. It's so boring, it's so boring. Do something different now. I said to someone the other day, I was like, what you could do to create a nice feature is like maybe you can paint the skirt in a different color, like blue or something. And then if your wall is sort of like a off-whitish, greyish sort of colour, it's really nice. And then you can paint the frames of the door the same colour as the skirting. And do you know what? That actually looks really quite lush. You don't need a feature wall, do you? You can create different things as a feature. Feature your ceiling.
All of these property people are listening going, oh my God, I've just painted this new HMO. I've just painted this my refurb refinance. I'm sat here going, oh my God, I need to. I'm about to do a refurb. And there won't be any grey in it anymore.
No more grey. Mind you, even kitchens have moved on. Like, I love the fact that kitchens are starting to get more colour in them, because kitchens went grey or white, and that was sort of what you would do. Like
blue.
My last one was like a dark blue bottom with a white top, and then like a lighter grey top, just to break it up a little bit in a small space. But people do just go for the easy option, don't they? But it's have a little bit.
I mean, you can get textured like doors as well, so you can create like features. It could be like your featured doors, or and you get really, really nice stuff, and they don't have to be so expensive. I mean, what are the cheap ones called? What is it? Magnet? Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
you can
magnet
tell
kitchens.
I don't design. I'm like, what's that one? But because I went into a property that somebody did, and it was a low budget, and the kitchen was amazing. So when they said, I won't say who it is because I don't know if she wants me to say it, but she's just sold it as well. So I won't say you've just bought a cheap kitchen. No. But when she said, like, I looked at it and I was like, this looks mint. It was so nice, and she got it from Magnet. Couldn't believe it. So it's like, I think when you can, like, if you can be a little bit creative with it, and even if you see like a high-end sort of kitchen, you can always do that thing that they do in fashion, can't you? Get the look, and go into Magnet or whatever they're called, just start to kind of build it from there, and just sort of copy it and get as much from it. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? That's another way to kind of make things look a bit different on a budget.
No, that's good advice. I think are you a part of the landlord scheme, Rob? You know that I'm trying to think, it was like the landlord buyers scheme. Yeah. With the landlord buyers scheme, I think the discounts of Magnet are massive. So again, if you can find like a half decent kitchen with the landlord's discount scheme,
LMPG.
That's it. And it's massive. I think it's like 70%, 60% off. Like huge.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think we did one in a bungalow. And again, it was just a basic bungalow, and I think the kitchen itself, so a fair amount of units, and then the electronics was well under $1,000, and this thing was massive.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's really
didn't even know you could get a kitchen that cheap.
What? One cabinet was $1,000?
What do you mean?
Was it made out of Tom Carver?
They put it all in, and then a big gust of wind just blew it all away.
Yeah. You just got workers in your basement, haven't you? Just working for like
little sweatshop, property sweatshop.
There's an illegal something happening underground. You've just got these little people just working. Oh dear.
I've got a question for you then. So
Tell me.
Talking about like property gurus and all that sort of stuff. Like, legitimate question, not taking a piss, but have you got any intention of kind of teaching people how to do what you do, or maybe to your level, but teaching people to improve their refurbs and stuff like that?
No. I'm
Not
tired. I'm tired. I need to sit down and sleep. Why are you giving me more work to do? No, I will eventually. Because that was actually a plan, and I was thinking of maybe doing like a weekend, like in a nice sort of hotel type thing. But it's just my excuse to go and get a massage, to be honest. Yeah, but like I will do something eventually after this lockdown stuff. I will do kind of like helping people to, you know, how to do a good lighting plan, and I'll give them kind of like, you know, sort of like a fake project, if you like, and just to sort of go through certain things, how to do a good lighting plan, different ways to do features, because I'm really trying to eradicate this grey stuff. It's really annoying me. I've got to do something. We've got to take a stand.
You want to
start a
woman
campaign.
mission.
Yeah, I'm a woman on a mission. So yeah, I will do something like that eventually, and I did put the feelers out, so that there are quite a few people that would be interested in it. It's not something I could do all the time, but yeah, I think it would be quite nice to do, meet new people, so new people that I can piss off.
Find a new set of group to put on the list. Oh, Ronnie, well, we're taking like an hour of your time now, so we'll say goodbye. So is there, how do people get in touch with you if they want to follow your journey and your projects and stuff?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram at Ronni James Associates. You can go to my website. What's my website? RonnieJamesAssociates.com. Jesus. And I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. I don't think I've got a Facebook page though. It's just so many things to do. LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn as well. So and now I'm on this Clubhouse thing. I don't know how long I'm going to survive on there.
That's because we had a conversation about that as well. So I've been on Clubhouse and I went on it. I listened to about 3 conversations. I was like, I'm out. I don't get it. It ain't for me.
No, it's just so much in the way of ego. I just can't do it. I mean, I do have my groups. I'm going to be on there tonight, and you know, I like to think that I give valuable content or whatever it is. But you know, people are there to ask me whatever questions they like. But there's just so much ego on there. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
have you played? Because you played around it, Rob, didn't you? Because you're on it.
I'll be honest. I downloaded it.
And that's as far as you go.
I'm a little bit like you, Ronnie. I'm not huge on social media and things like that. So
no, it's a good platform, but it's just like, you know, if they gave it, everyone kind of gives that information that I already knew, you know, and there's just so much. Oh, it's too much ego. It does my head in. So I don't know how long I'm going to survive on there. I really don't, because I'm like, my nerves are barely holding on as it is. So.
Yeah, I can see Clubhouse as like it's just going to book because it's booming at the moment, and then it will just crash. I think the shelf life's going to be really short on it. I think people just get annoyed with it after a while.
Yeah, I mean, I've only been on there for like 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. It feels like a lifetime, and it's just so exhausting already. I know the wonderful Liz is like, oh no, don't go anywhere yet. And it's like, mate, I'm not sure. I'm going to actually see how this week goes. I mean, it's improved. Like, you know, I've got more followers on Instagram, but you know, 90% of my my work comes through referrals anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm really not bothered about. I hate social media. There's too many idiots on there, and I don't like people as it is. I love people. Sorry, I do love people. Book me. Get me to do your work. But like, I just can't. No, yeah, I'm not good. I'm not good. Somebody said the other day, if you're trying to attract luxury people, that you should print out flyers and leave them in your pizza takeaway. I was like, that's not how you do it.
That is very strange way to attract luxury.
You don't do that. He was like, yeah, well, rich people eat pizza too. It's like, really, that's your argument. I'm off. I'll see you later. I can't be asked to do this. That was his argument, I promise you. He was like, yeah, but rich people eat pizza too.
And you know, that is half the problem with Clubhouse, because it's so early on that people that aren't the top of their game can pretend that they're top of their game early. And I think a lot of people are being caught out on, and the other thing is, because it's conversational, it's not pre-recorded, it's not thought about, you're catching people on the fly. You can really catch a lot of people out on there, versus like a polished YouTube video or a polished I don't know, like an Instagram post or something that, yeah, I think a lot of people are going to get caught out on it.
No,
But yeah,
but I heard. Sorry, go on.
That's all I was going to say.
No, I was just lastly because I was really annoyed yesterday because there was somebody who wanted some genuine advice on how to improve their social media presence, and the guy, oh god, he responded and he's like, oh, like, are you a cheapskate or something, or are you a freeloader? And like, because I usually charge 10,000 an hour for my time. And I just thought, oh my God. And do you know what? He handled it really well, and in a dignified way, because I wouldn't have. There would have been so many beats. Like, it was so unnecessarily, just so rude. And I was just like, no, I can't deal with this. So I think my life on Clubhouse is going to be short-lived. I can't be arsed.
But if you want to find Ronnie on Clubhouse, you can. No, thank you so much, Ronnie. Before we go, I'd like to just do a few shameless plugs. So again, we're on all the socials at Podcast Property, and you can visit us at podcastproperty.co.uk. We're on YouTube. We're on I keep saying Shopify rather than Spotify. It's like we're not on Shopify yet because we don't sell anything, but on Spotify, we're on all of the mediums and everything. But if you've enjoyed this, please do like, subscribe, review. All of those things are really important for us. And yeah, thank you very much. No, cheers, Ronnie. It was so lovely to see you.
Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you for listening to the Property Investors Podcast. The information contained in the podcast is not to be used as financial advice. Everybody's situations and goals are different, and you should always complete your own due diligence on investments and seek personalised financial advice from a qualified person. Feel free to contact the show for professional recommendations. Visit propertyinvestorspodcast.com.